right, we are recording. Let me mute everybody. Zach, Jared, you guys, I assume, know the drill. Just send the rematch thing. When it's just after I mute everybody.
Yeah, just ping me and I'll send the rematch, John.
Sweet. Sweet. Almost muted Kayla. That was a mistake. Oh, I gotta deafen Zach and Jared too, huh? Don't I? There you go.
If anybody can hear me, your mom's a hoe.
And he's muted too. Okay. Great. Kayla, could you ping Jared for me
For what?
to send the rematch? I have to say, Kayla, I have been looking forward to this match for a long time.
It'll definitely be interesting.
Like I believe in Jared, dude. I want to believe, but I think Zach is a sweaty tryhard, and I love him so much. So I am a bit concerned. Kayla, you seem tired. How you going?
I just did a lot this weekend, but also looking forward to chess.
So Zach is actually playing a mainline opening called the Philidor Defense.
How do you spell that?
Philldor, I believe, or
Okay.
Idor, something. And it's not so much the Philidor Defense; it's actually just the opening for White. He's played mainline theory so far and also responded really well to what Jared's done. He's doubled pawns, up a pawn, has his structure set up. This is just a crushing position for Zach immediately out of the gates. Like, he has prepared for this match. He is playing mainline theory.
He's ranked a whole 2 points higher than Jared. It's over.
It's just a dub. So you can see now what Zach's doing is that he's just doing very calculated exchanges. He's managing his time perfectly. Like, Jared's almost down a full minute on him. And since Zach is +2 right now in material, he can just exchange. Like, he can just trade pawns for pawns, bishops for knights, rooks for rooks, queen for queen. And eventually Jared will just not have enough to stop Zach from winning the game. He's already broken up. Like, look at Jared's position. He's got an overextended pawn on a5. He's got a pawn island on c7. Like, the king can't castle anymore. And he's down 2 pawns of material. It's a little sad. But I believe I think Jared can pull it out. I think he's got a lot going on right now, and I think Zach is very prepared. So I think Jared's going to be trying to rally back in game 2.
I think we're gonna see Jared type in "fuck" in the chess chat in the next 1 minute.
I would not be surprised at all. Zach's looking for a mate, actually. He's gonna find this. There's this beautiful fork on e6, like knight to e6 hits the queen and the king, which the bishop, Jared's white squared bishop on c8 will be able to take it. Zach's going for it. The bishop has to take, and then the queen can take the bishop and infiltrate and have a really good position. Jared needs to take it with the light squared bishop. If he does anything else, he'll lose the queen. I'm surprised that he didn't see the light squared bishop capture. That was pretty normal. This game is just completely over now. What do you think about that, Kayla? I mean, honestly, I feel like Jared's probably like a bit distracted because that seemed like pretty straightforward to see that.
I think he's saying "fuck" probably right about now.
It'll be interesting to see how convincingly Zach can close this out, because in game, good pin. I mean, Zach's just playing great. Zach's just playing great chess. He's pinning the knight to the king, so the knight can't move, which would put the king into check. So Jared's gonna have to defend it by moving the c6. Yeah, pawn to c6. But that hangs the rook, unfortunately. So Zach is playing him like a fiddle, and since the knight is still pinned, Zach can push the c4 pawn and hit the knight. Oh, Jared actually defends it and hits the rook on it. That's nice. Interesting, Zach's not going for a battery. The knight's still pinned, so there's still going to be long-term issues with this knight. The c4 pawn, like pawn c3 to c4, could put pressure on the pinned knight. Right now, the bishop could capture it, but Zach could prep it with a move like pawn b3, which I think he's considering. He's looking at it. Oh my goodness, is he going to find pawn to b3 to set up the c4 push to attack the knight? He's just going to take the hanging pawn instead. With check, by the way. Really strong move. And if the knight goes to block, I'm pretty sure it's just mate into. Okay. It's good that Jared didn't block the check with the knight. There's just like 1.5 billion ways for Zach to win this game. He could win on time. He could win through exchanges. He could find some sort of a sacrifice. There's not a whole lot to say left in this game.
You never know.
You never,
Jared could come.
yeah.
Just kidding.
That was coming. But now Jared with the white pieces. Let's see how he does. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I don't know if that was a misclick or not.
I think he misclicked. Okay.
I mean, this is an opening. This is a fine defense for white. I mean,
What's it called?
This looks like a reverse London for black. You can keep pressuring that bishop and take a whole bunch of space. He is creating long-term weaknesses on like a6, for example, but not too much of an issue. That's a good move. Zach should develop his knight to f6. Yeah, he sees it. I mean, Zach is looking like a solid, a reasonable favorite for this tournament with this kind of a performance. This is very convincing. Seems decidedly above the level of a lot of people in this tournament. Jared could win the pawn back though by taking on e4 with the knight. His knight takes pawn, knight takes knight, queen takes knight, and Jared's just up a pawn, so he'll equalize material. Yeah, he finds it. Ooh, counterattack on the queen. I like that. That is a really good move. Oh, goodness, Jared. He needed to move his queen up. If he had moved the queen up to e3, he could have maintained the defense of the knight. But obviously taking the bishop hangs it to the knight.
Jared just shitting on the board, not even a minute in.
I think Jared's having a hard time right now, I think. This is just not. This is. I've personally played Jared in chess, and I know he can play better than this. He's stressed. He's thinking about his move, and he's trying to pack, and there's a lot going on.
Weird.
It's a bit unfortunate, but you know, we have to keep the tournament.
You just gotta leave it at the door.
Yeah.
You gotta leave it all at the door.
The tournament must go on.
Yeah.
Zach is just cool, calm, and collected. That bishop is completely lost, by the way. There's no way to save it. c4, d5, both covered by the queen. Stays where it is, gets taken by the knight. a4 is covered by the knight. Yeah. At least Jared opens up his rook. Let's see if Zach maintains the defense of his knight on a6. He's looking at it. You can see his brain thinking. He's like looking at the angles. I like that. That hits the pawn on b3. That's a good move. You can hit the pawn on b3 and then fork the bishop. Yeah, he'll fork the bishop and the rook, forcing the rook to move. And if the rook moves anywhere, it'll be lost. Oh, what a great move. Counter pin on the knight. preventing the knight taking the bishop, otherwise he'll lose the queen. Amazing move by Zach, really great move. It's not short. It's short-lived because Zach finds a great counterattack. But that was a solid move. Solid move. Definitely put the pressure back in Zach's court. Unfortunately, the material discrepancy at this point is just far too high to overcome. Unless, of course, you and Joel were playing, Kayla. In which case, anything's possible. That's just mate.
Dude, I would lose to Joel very easily.
Queen takes d2 is mate. Queen takes d2 is mate. Yeah.
Damn. Oh, dude, Joel's been playing like every single day. Holy shit, he's gotten really good.
I love that. This is interesting. Zach's deviating from some main line, going for something a bit novel here. Ooh, I don't know what Zach's going for here. I am not liking this. I feel like Zach is kind of just like throwing out random moves now.
It's like, what's the dumbest way I can win right now?
Yeah, this does seem like a bit of a flex. Jared's knight coming into d4 is not a terrible idea. The long-term weaknesses on c3 and e3 are preventing that knight getting kicked out by anything anytime soon, so I do like knight c to d4. Oh, interesting. Jared finds a free pawn.
That was pretty cool.
That's good stuff. Zach might trap the queen here, though, if Jared's not careful. Oh, okay.
That was a bruh.
That was a bruh. Oh. Oh, dear. That's really hard for the mental, I think.
That's 2 games in a row. He's like lost his queen within like the first minute.
Yeah. From a theoretical perspective, this game is unwinnable, but we've seen multiple times in this tournament that theory doesn't match in practice very often. So, we'll
As
see.
Joel likes to say all the time, it's not a hang, it's a gambit.
Yes, exactly. The classic rebuttal. I will say that in spite of Jared being down a queen, because of Zach's choice of moves, he's really made it awkward for him to continue to make progress. I think the most obvious move is knight to d5, offering that exchange and getting some pawn play in and rerouting your knight around. But that knight's not going anywhere, so I don't know what the plan is with that move. We've already talked about this multiple times, but knights on the edge of the board are really just sad.
And I'm assuming he's gonna try and take b6 and then put the king in check and then just do some shit from there.
I mean, if he takes on b6, though, the pawn just takes back, and he's just hung his knight for no reason.
I'm assuming there's some kind of long-term plan. That's why he hasn't done it yet.
Maybe. You can trap the bishop, maybe? You might be able to start trying to look to trap this bishop. There's definitely a knight reroute that he could do. He could go with that knight on a4. Oh, Jared just hangs his bishop. Things are going from bad to worse. You really don't want to, when you're down material, you really don't want to be putting yourself in a position that makes it easy for your opponent to trade. Because like we've talked about this a lot already, that exchanging to a win. Ooh, Zach makes a very interesting advance, offering up that pawn on d3, but the queen will be able to take back. We'll see if Jared sees it. It's a bit of a debate. Okay, Jared doesn't take the bait. Walks into this knight attack, though. Ooh, this knight is definitely getting in on d6 with check and gonna pick up that pawn on f7, which is gonna be really awkward. Ooh, Jared moved it back though, so can still defend the d6 square. Zach still needs to break through here, but he's just very quickly identifying his weaknesses and going in. He can exchange pawns. He can just take back on e5. Just trade pawn for pawn. Yeah. Queen takes e5 is the move. Bishop's under attack. Not a lot of great moves left for the bishop also. Okay. That's a juicer. We'll take the juicer. I think, honestly, I think you can just sacrifice the queen here. I think just take on d8, but Zach's probably not going to do that. I think if you take the rook on d8, force the other rook to take, or the king to take, you can start cracking open the position with the knight by like taking on a7 and just like getting that passer on a6 to promote into a queen, just cause all sorts of problems. But Zach is just playing cool, calm, and collected. There's no way for Jared to win this game, unfortunately. But maybe Zach stalemates him. Kayla, is there anything you'd like to say to Jared in the VOD?
We'll see you next year, Jared.
Yeah. I mean, you know, 2 knights, 2 rooks is nothing to scoff at. Jared still has some potential counterplay. But Zach's just going for the very standard. Got his knight in a bit of a predicament, huh? Jared is running out of time. Well, GG. Let's get everybody unmuted. Well, GG's.
It's fine. Like I said, I'm mentally boomed right now, but if we waited till after I move, it'd be another 2.5 weeks. So I figure we might as well just get over with.
We gave you a lot of credit in the cast, Jared.
Thank you.
Everybody
Now,
knows.
if you'll
Everybody
excuse
knows
me,
that.
I'll go back to having my panic attack about my move in 7 days. Talk to y'all later.
Bye, Jared. Zach, man, leading the charge with the Philidor, that was really cool. How much prep did you put into this?
Wait, which one is the Philidor? Is that game 2?
That was game 1. Doing the c3 into or I think I think c3 into.
I'll clue you in on a little secret. On game 2, the pawn that I moved 1 forward on first move, that was supposed to be 2 forward.
Oh yeah, you accidentally did you accidentally went into the French in game 2. But no, game 1.
I mean, that was 100% intentional. You know, my mastery skills are on a whole new level.
I have to say I did really like though in game 1 where you push pawn to c3, which preps pawn to d4, getting that 2 pawns in the center on e4 d4. That was cool. I like that. That's the Philidor classic.
I'm gonna pretend I know what you're talking about. It is not in agreement.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, anyway, you played.
So
you played a lot of theory, is what I'm saying. So it to the untrained eye, it looked like you had done a lot of prep.
My prep this game was just, all right, I'm just going to play really fast and do like cheap moves that, you know, are low risk, but are going to run down Jared's time.
Mm-hmm. I liked how you played really, and in the final game, you had a lot of opportunities to like trade your queen for a rook because you were so head up in material and look for some sort of a breakthrough with the, you know, you could have taken the pawn on a7 with the knight or something and like tried to break through in the final game after sacrificing the queen. But you just played cool, calm, and collected the whole time. Just took the pawns, gobbled them up, looked for a passer. Very clean stuff, dude.
Yeah, I don't mind playing slow. And especially with something like this, it usually means that someone else is going to make a mistake.
Yeah, no, totally. I thought you played great, man. Honestly, I was
Thanks.
telling Kayla the whole time that it looked like you had prepped an opening or two.
Dude, I haven't played chess since I played against Sauce.
Oh.
So
The last thing I'll ask is, what was your sort of thought process in that final game, like pushing all those pawns? Were you just sort of like winging it at that point?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, no,
taking
no.
advantage?
It was something I was thinking of when I was a kid, and I remember playing chess at school because we actually had a chess club and whatnot.
Did you go to Seven Hills?
No.
What school did you go to?
Well, no. This was at I think it was at Stanley.
Oh, cool.
Almost forgot that you were from that area. I forget. Did you go to Stanley or was it just
No.
Akalani's?
No, I did
Okay.
Akalani's, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I remember. I mean, I don't remember going to the chess club for very long, but I do remember dropping in and playing some games every once in a while. But no, or actually, maybe this predates it. But anyways, a long time ago when I was a kid, I remember there was this stupid thing that we would do that was literally just called Pawn Island because you moved your pawns up, and it was always such a pain in the ass to deal with. And I figured, well, if it was a pain in the ass to deal with when you're playing with no time constraints, then it's probably a giant pain in the ass with time constraints. And it's completely brainless to do because you're just moving your pawns up, but all of a sudden it becomes a pain in the ass for your opponent. So I was like, well, Jared has to spend a lot more time thinking about how to maneuver, and I'm just over here like, all right, move a pawn up. All right, move a pawn up. I'm gonna run his clock down.
I love it, dude. Well, congratulations. That was sweet. Congratulations, you've made it to the round of 4. Feels good, man.
Hey.
Your next match will be against Joel. So he was here spectating your games, obviously.
Studying, looking up the field.
Joel knows my strategy now. I have to come up with a new one. Maybe I'll run my clock down.
He's prepping, dude. He's prepping. All right. Well, that's it for us. Thanks everybody who watches and who was here for the games.